Hey everybody, welcome to this fifth installment of our Group Life session about Together here this winter of 2011. We're glad you've been part of Group Life up to this point. Got Melissa and me, Greg, here, and we're going to share a few ideas with you. But first, before we jump into any of that, we are here at Sabathani Community Center on 38th and 4th Avenue. It's just a great place providing all kinds of services to the local neighborhoods, and it's one of the places that Jacobs Well has done a lot of work as well. In fact, just recently the H2O kids were gathering groceries and I'm bringing them here to Sabathani.
So speaking of service, have you guys planned your service project yet? Make sure you figure that out as a group and get out and do something different together and be outward. It will be a good thing for you guys.
Great chance to be familiar with some of these great places and meet some wonderful people. Before we go on to what we're going to be talking about this week, we want you to hear another word from the street. Here we go.
Hey groups, my name is Nick Tassler, and I'm in a Tuesday night group that we have here at our house with my wife Allison. And one of the cool things about our group, and sort of one of the essential things about our group, is that we have kids. And all of our kids sort of have their own little group going on in the basement every night when we meet. And so it adds an interesting element. But one of the issues for us was how do we go and be a part of a group with kids? How do we take them along and still get kind of the group experience that we need? And so we sort of devised a system where all the kids go in the basement and we all pitch in and hire a babysitter. And, we have a babysitter, and we also have a couple of just helpful hands that are there to roughhouse with the kids and keep them occupied. So, speaking of kids, that's the clatter in the background. Anyway, so that really works out well for us, and it's really made it possible so we can get the kind of adult experience we need, and also so the kids can meet some friends and have a little group time of their own. And the other thing we really like about our group is highs and lows. I think it's suggested that everybody does this all the time. I don't know if every group does it all the time, but it's probably the single most important thing about our groups. It's really where people kind of get together and just sort of, it's how we sort of establish the bond. And and after everybody shares their highs and lows, the things that have been happening in their life, it's really lays the foundation so that it's really hard to be superficial, even if you wanted to be in your conversations afterwards. So that's how we make sure that everybody's real. We go through the highs and lows, and we kind of get it all out on the table, and so everyone can really have some authentic conversation after that. Now that's really kind of what makes our group tick, and it's really been a recipe for success so far.
Hey, thanks. It's always good to hear what's going on with Group Life and your different experiences, and we know everybody's got lots of those, so we'll keep hearing more of those as time goes on. This week, as you get together on a session called Plastic, it's all about this idea that Stephen Covey talks about in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families, called the emotional bank account. This is very common sense sort of stuff. You're all going to say this, read this, and hear about this stuff and say, I know that, but if you're like me, you know it, but you aren't doing it. There's a lot of enlightening that can happen before we start living it. So I think you're going to really enjoy this. People will understand it really well. The trick is going to be how we apply that learning to ourselves and how we start understanding some of the subtleties of it. For instance, take time and talk about not just how your accounts are going with each other emotionally, but what are the currencies in some places that you think it should be working and it's not. So there's a lot of fun stuff to be talking about, a lot of enlightening stuff, things I think that can really make a difference.
And I think what really helps make a difference with these ideas is when you hear it in the form of stories, and especially each other's stories. And this week you're actually going to read a story together that really pulls together all the ideas that we've talked about so far from these prior weeks, and you can see how they all work together in this one very, very powerful story. So that's going to be a significant part of your discussion that you should know about.
As you gather now, you're getting close to the end of this season of Group Life, and it's time to think about what's next. So plan on what is next. We're hoping that your experience with this Group Life group has been so great that you're going to want to continue, but if you're like a lot of us, as spring comes closer and closer, we get busier and busier. So you may need to be a little bit creative on how you work that all out, but make that commitment to community and find ways to continue the strength of the relationships you have. But keep it sustainable, be creative, stay together.
And we do want to pause and thank the GroupLife team who made this winter season come together for all of us. They did all the marketing and getting the word out about GroupLife and getting as many people as possible connected and supporting the whole thing. So all of them contributed lots of little things, and they always welcome new team members. So maybe this spring, someone in your group or you might have some ideas to throw into the mix with them. That would be great.
That's right. So thanks for helping out, and we are glad to have you in there, and looking forward to some more people being a part of it as well. As you jump into your session tonight or this week, we hope that you do remember the power of prayer in that as well. So we're going to add a little prayer at the beginning of the session this time to center yourself, and then give you an exercise to finish off with it as well. So we hope you're having a great session and a great time. We're looking forward to hearing stories from you guys, and send questions and dilemmas our way as well. So have a great week.
Thank you.